Hi everyone, my name is Smriti. I'm the admin of Live2Dance and I'm also one of the hair and makeup leads for Live2Dance Showcase this year. I'm here to show you how to do your full base makeup, and then I'll also do an eye tutorial as well. And I'll also post a video with tips and tricks on how to make sure your skin and your makeup looks best for show day. Let's get started. Right now I still have makeup on, so I'm going to make sure I clean that all the way off with some makeup remover wipes. Okay, so I've completely removed all the makeup and eye makeup from my face, so now we're on a completely clean canvas and we're ready to begin. So first and most important step is to always start with moisturizer. I cannot emphasize enough how important moisturizing your skin before you start your base makeup is. If you've ever had your makeup crack or fall into the creases, or you think that it looks too cakey, the reason is most likely because your skin is not fully moisturized before you're applying those products. What you need to do is make sure that your skin is fully hydrated before starting. So as you can see here, now that I've applied moisturizer, my skin is nice and hydrated and ready for any makeup I'm going to put on top of it. So now the first thing I'm going to start with is a color corrector. If you've ever had your foundation or concealer applied to your face and it looks really gray and ashy and it doesn't really look like your skin, that's most likely because you're not using a color corrector. So the way to use color corrector is if you have dark spots, you want to counteract that with a red or pink color corrector. And if you have any redness that you're trying to counteract, you want to go in with a green color corrector. So I don't have too much redness on my natural skin, but I do have a lot of dark areas, one being like under my eyes, around my cheeks here, and a little bit around, I have hyperpigmentation around my mouth. I'm just going to apply this using a beauty sponge. And like I said, I'm going to apply just a little bit under my eyes. Then I'm going to apply that around my lips, a little bit on my chin. I have a little dark patch right here, so I'm going to just apply a little bit there. And that's good. We're looking a little crazy, but now I'm gonna go in with concealer. In this step of the process, here's where you can go in with your foundation or skin tint or whatever you want to use to give your skin a nice smooth base. Personally, I just like to go in with concealer and just blend that out all over my skin. So I'm going to apply the concealer definitely on top of the areas where I've applied the color corrector, and then I'm gonna blend whatever's left on my sponge into the rest of my face. So I'm gonna go in under my eyes, around my mouth, chin. And at this point, you also want to draw attention to the center of your face, and I'm going to do that by concealing down the bridge of my nose, up towards my forehead, on my chin. Again, I'm just going in with a normal beauty sponge and just blending that all out. The trick to concealer is making sure you let it sit on your face for a few minutes to allow it to get tacky. What happens is when the concealer is in liquid form in the bottle, so if you would blend it out immediately, it's not going to give you the coverage that you're expecting. So let it sit on your face for a few minutes and then go in with a sponge. And if you're using a sponge to blend out your concealer or foundation, you want to make sure you're tapping it all the way into the skin. You don't want to drag that product all over your skin. So as you can see here, I've blended out the concealer all over my face. I just used that tapping motion all the way through. I didn't go all the way to the edges of my face because I'm going to apply contour and bronzer there, but I made sure to concentrate all the brightness towards the center of my face. And I know I'm looking a little bit white like a ghost, but now this is where we're gonna bring all the color back into our face. And as you can see here, the reason the concealer matches my skin tone exactly and I've covered all the dark spots and hyperpigmentation is because I applied that color corrector underneath. So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna contour our face. Once we apply something like foundation or concealer that's very high coverage, what we're doing is we're covering all the natural shadows that are already in our face. The whole point of contour is to bring those shadows back into your face. So everyone has a different face shape, so everyone's going to contour a little bit differently. One thing I suggest is if you've never contoured before, please do not try it directly on show day. I would recommend trying it before show day if you want to see how it can kind of change the look and feel of your face. For those who are going to go in with contour, basically what you're looking for is where are those natural shadows in your face. So definitely you want to do under the cheekbone. So this is a natural shadow that got taken away with concealer over here. I'm gonna go underneath and recarve out my entire jawline, under the chin. I'm going to bring the shadows back in the center of my nose here, and then my forehead, and I'm going to frame my face all the way around with that concealer. This goes back into bringing the brightness and the attention back into the center of your face. So by darkening the outer edges of your face, bringing back those shadows, you're going to start naturally highlighting the high points of your face. A trick with using contour, especially on your cheekbones, is you want to make sure you don't go too low. If you're trying to lift the entire look of your face, you want to find where that under your cheekbone is and apply the contour slightly higher. That way you can blend it directly into that gap. Another thing is a little goes a long way. You can always apply more product to your face, but it's very hard to take that product off. So start with a little bit at a time, blend it out, and then see if you need more. So here I'm going to recarve out my jawline, under my chin. And remember, whatever you're applying to your face, to also bring down your neck as well. You want to make sure that your face and your body have that seamless connection. I like to use a pretty dense brush for blending out my contour, just to make sure I am concentrating it in just the areas of the face that I want to. You want to make sure you're not blending this all over through your foundation as well, or you're just going to add a whole lot of shadow back to your face. You can also use a sponge to blend this out as well. And when you blend, you want to make sure you're blending upwards. I think that's a good trick to make sure you're not accidentally pulling that contour down. Again, you want to make sure your face stays lifted. Try not to pull that contour too far into your cheek. Just keep it under your cheekbone where that natural shadow was. Make sure to blend this all the way up into your hairline. You don't want a white line in between where your contour is and where your hairline starts. So now, as you can see, the color has come back to my face. I've re-added the shadows back. So another trick with blending, when you're blending out your nose contour, I like to pull that all the way up towards my eyebrows. It's going to give a nice like shadow effect for your eyes as well. And then I take whatever's left on my brush and I kind of just brush that under my lower lip just to add that shadow back as well. The last of the cream products I'm going to use on my face is going to be my cream blush. Because we've used the concealer or foundation to even out our skin tone, now we want to bring a little bit of that pinkiness, a little bit of that flush back into our face. I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller brush for the cream blush. So I'm just going to take, you can use whatever cream blush suits your face. I think for this showcase, since we're going for a very cute romantic vibe, I would go with anything that's a little bit more pink, giving you that little bit younger, cuter effect. So I'm going to apply that to my brush, And so blush, we want to concentrate towards the upper area of our face, and basically where I've applied that contour, I'm going to add the cream blush a little bit higher to that. And a lot of people think that blush is just for your cheeks. Actually, if you apply blush just to your cheeks, it's going to kind of remove that lifted look that we're going for, and it's going to make your face look a little bit flat. So the trick to blush is to apply it to the cheekbone, pull that up to your forehead. Again, with blush, a little goes a long way. Start with a little amount, blend it, and then see if you need more. I'm just gonna blend that down into my contour. So again, as you can see, I'm already bringing the color back into my face, but because I've added it to the outer corner, it is going to give that lifted look. Okay, so once I've applied the blush to the outer corners of my cheek, I'm also going to apply it to my nose and just the front tip of my nose. And then to bring back a little color to the rest of my face, I'm just gonna use whatever's left on my brush and just lightly apply that everywhere else. So now we've done our base with all of our cream products. The most important thing you have to do not skip this step, is you need to apply powder to every cream product that you've applied. So we're gonna start from the beginning. I applied the cream concealer all over my face, and so for that, I'm going to set it with a powder. The powder I'm using is the Huda Beauty Banana Bread Easy Bake Powder. It's a very fine powder that's going to set all that cream concealer into place, and it's not going to move. For this, I'm going to use a powder puff. So I'm just going to dab my puff into the powder, wipe off the excess, and apply that generously to all the areas that you applied concealer. So under my eyes, down the center of my nose, my forehead. Yes, it is going to look crazy, but this is an essential step. I'm going to carve out my cheeks, my chin, and around my mouth. And then we're gonna let that set. So while this is setting, I'm gonna go in and apply my powdered bronzer. So bronzer is going to be, I actually just finished my old bronzer, so I just opened a new one. How satisfying is that? And for this, because I don't want the lines on my face to be too harsh, I'm going to go in with a big, like, fluffy brush, and I'm just going to apply that powdered bronzer all over the areas that I applied contour. So what this is going to do is, as you're naturally applying that bronzer powder, you're also kind of dusting away the banana bake powder. Again, I'm just brushing out my jawline here, under my chin. Most importantly, bring that bronzer down your neck as well. Make sure to blend out all the edges of your face. Down the nose. Again, pull that up under your eyebrows, tip of the nose, and under the lip. So that is the bronzer that we've applied everywhere where we applied our contour. Now I'm going to use another big, clean, fluffy brush, and I'm going to dust off all that original powder, and going to seamlessly blend all of that makeup. So now you can see we should start to see a lot of the makeup kind of coming together. We're starting to blur that face into place. We shouldn't see any super harsh lines at this point. We need to do powdered blush as well on top of the cream blush that we applied earlier. I'm going in with a more pink blush. As you can see, I absolutely love this blush. Going in with another sort of angled brush, doesn't really matter, and applying that where I applied the cream blush in those same areas. Powdered blush can also be very strong sometimes, so again, a little bit goes a long way. Start with a little, blend it out as needed. I'm doing my entire makeup in the camera directly, so if I'm looking in a different area, it's usually just to check in the mirror if I'm looking correct. So I did the cheeks, now I'm gonna go in on the nose, just going to lightly blend it into the center of my face as well. And again, with whatever excess is on my brush, I am going to buff it into the powder that we applied on top of those concealer areas as well. So as you can see, I've brought back a lot of the color from my natural face back into my makeup. So now I'm going to do highlighter. Highlighter I think is really important to kind of pull the look all together. Essentially, highlighter is going to do the exact opposite to what the contour did. The highlighter is going to bring back the natural light to the high points. So the way you want to think of this is anywhere, if you're standing in the sunlight, wherever the light would naturally hit your face first, only those areas you want to apply highlight. So that's going to be the tip of the nose. I like to do down the bridge of my nose as well. I'll blend that up into my forehead, under my eyebrows where my brow bone is, on the tip of my lip, a little bit on my chin, and on the high points of my cheekbone. This is really important for stage makeup because when you're going on stage, as soon as those stage lights hit your face, you want your face to really pop, especially because you're going to be dancing, you have expressions. So to make sure all of that is coming to life, you want to make sure that the correct areas of your face are shadowed and the correct areas are highlighted. So that concludes the base makeup of our face. So all I did was moisturize. I added cream concealer, cream contour, and cream blush. Then I went on top of that with a powder to bake the concealer, bronzer to powder the contour, and then powdered blush to bring the color back into the face. So that's it for the base makeup. Now we're gonna go into the lips and the eyes as well. You're looking at the finished look of the stage makeup. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me or Diksha. We are totally happy to help. We'll be sending out a full list of recommendations of different products that you can purchase if you don't have them already. And let us know if you have any questions. You guys are going to look amazing on show day, and we're wishing you all the best.